When yogi develop Metta Bhavana, it must be developed dwelling his mind on the Piñati, the manifestation of what is known by the nomenclature Pugala or Satta, individual and beings. So there is every likelihood of having a false belief in Atta or self, Atta deity, with clinging attachment or a view that an individual or a being really exists. Such being the case, Lord Buddha has preached the last verse in conclusion in order to dispel this Atta deity wrong view which is likely to occur and to enable yogi to attain Ariya Megaphala, noble path and fruition. So the last verse, Deitenja Anupagama Silawa Dasanena Sampanno Kamesu Vineya Gedam Nahi Jatuk Gabaseya Punaridi. That means not approaching wrong views, being virtuous and endowed with vision, the first path knowledge, and discarding attachment, discarding kamatana to all sensual objects. Yogi definitely does not come again to lie in a mother's womb. So we need to explain words by words. Dating, ja. Deity wrong views, that is Atta deity, which sticks or clings to the view that there is really Atta. There's really individual or self or a being, which is a false doctrine, or rather the heresy of individuality. Yogi have no desire to cling to the kinds of wrong views, or yogi have no desire to grasp with attachment the kinds of individual or self. What is now driving at by the usage of this expression is that though yogi may be developing metta as may he be happy or may all beings be happy, the terms pukala or satta, that is individual and beings, are merely terminology currently in use. As a matter of fact, there is no such thing as an individual or a being or what is called atta, what is called self. The primary intention is to make yogi realize with his own personal knowledge that so-called atta, so-called self, is nothing but an aggregate of the four main elements, continually arising, becoming, and dissolving, called Namarupa. Mind and Metta, Atta-detti, the wrong view, should be rejected. So the manner of rejection may be explained in this way. How do you reject the Atta-detti, wrong views? By noting. Noting, you can remove the Atta-detti. This wrong conception should also be rejected with your background knowledge of what have been heard and noticed. That is called Sutta Maya Jnana. Before, long before meditation is practiced. You have the kinds of knowledge. Mind and Metta is anatta. What you know that rupa or corporeality or feeling or perception and so on arise and disappear, or they disappear after arising. You know before. And also these mind and matter of the five aggregates are not self, and they are anatta, in the sense that these mind and matter do not follow our wish. That means they arise and disappear according to their wish, according to their nature, and not according to our wish. So mind and matter arise and disappear depending on condition, whether you want them to arise or not. When there are conditions, they will arise and they will disappear. So you have no control over their arising and disappearing. That is why having no control over them, having no exercise of power over them, is said to be the mark of being anatta. You have that kinds of knowledge. That is Suttamaya Jnana. If yogi is a person who has achieved Metta Jhana, he should first of all absorb himself in the jhana, and on being awakened from the jhana, rejection should be done through his realization of the jhana, and rupa, the material body on which reliance is made, by practicing contemplation. As regards a yogi who has not yet achieved jhana, he or she should reject through his or her intuitive knowledge by contemplating with mindfulness on rupa, which is relied upon, and through recitation, which is the object of sense, at every moment of developing metta as may he be happy or may all beings be happy. Atta deity wrong view should also be rejected by relying fundamentally on metta jhana and by realizing the truth through contemplation of the respective phenomena of nama and rupa. It is not necessary to mention with regard to the manner of rejection by Sutta knowledge, the phenomenal nature of rupa and nama be rejected by practical exercise, noting and reflecting after listening to the Dhamma as far as possible. The manner of rejection by contemplation and awareness of the jhana after plunging in jhana is to contemplate on the jhanic mind. When consciousness in jhana has ceased, after his absorption in metta jhana, it is just like those yogis with no achievement of jhana who realize by contemplating and noting the mind that imagines and knows at every moment of arising consciousness. It is required to contemplate and become aware several times repeatedly by observing in jhana and by contemplating the jhanic mind. Then it will become obvious in the course of contemplation that consciousness of the jhanic mind, wishing others happy, and rupa on which reliance is made, as well as the vipassana mind, which contemplates and knows, are quite different from one another. At that moment, the material object of rupa that is dependent upon and which does not know and feel the sensation will be found quite distant from the consciousness of the jhanic mind that has just occurred, wishing others happy, and also the mind that contemplates and knows will be visualized and distinguishingly realized. Then it will be distinguishingly known with his own inside knowledge that there is no living entity, there is no beings there is no other beings, and that this material body is comprised of two different things, nama and rupa, the one which knows the sensation and the other which does not know the sensation. So when realized in this way, atta deity, wrong view, which holds the view of atta as a being, will be got rid of. It is a manner by which deity, the false view, is completely exterminated. With the knowledge of your rupa, nama rupa prijita jnana, there is knowledge of discernment, distinguishing between mind and matter. After practicing Metta jhana and vipassana intense. From this stage, if effort is continuously made in your meditational exercise by observing in jhana and then again by contemplating on the jhana, realization will come through personal insight knowledge that there is only cause and effect. This knowledge of cause and effect will lead to rejection of that wrong view, atta deity. Thereafter, jhana as well as the contemplative mind with awareness and the rupa on which reliance is made will be found continually arising and dissolving. Then rejection will be made, knowing the characteristic of anicca, dukkha, and anatta, impermanent suffering and not self. Eventually, this deity, this atta deity, will be totally eradicated with the knowledge of Sottapatti Mega. That is how deity wrong view is rejected and rooted out by developing jhana and vipassana alternately. The manner of rejection that has now been stated is similar in nature to the method of rejection of deity. After developing metta, radiating, may they gain happiness. May they gain happiness. And after contemplating the rupa with awareness of the mind, which is pervaded with metta, loving kindness. The only difference is between metta jhana and ordinary metta. However, the method of contemplation is the same. Again, the manner of practicing to get atta ditti rejected. The manner of rejecting deity wrong view by yogi contemplating on his consciousness of mind when it arises either from thoughts or imagination, touch, hearing and seeing after immersing in Metta Bhavana, from which he has arisen, is similar in nature to what the Vipassana yogi are contemplating. So what is the difference? The only difference is that it may be with or without the basic jhana. The method of contemplation is, however, the same. If the strength of contemplation and awareness becomes slackened while contemplating, based on jhana, on the phenomena, when they arise on their own, respectively, Metta jhana should again be developed and revived. When calmness or peace of body and mind has been energized, contemplating and noting of the phenomenal occurrences wherever they come, wherever they became manifested, should again be carried out. So we Vipassana yogis, are initially contemplating on the rising and falling movements of the abdomen, which is regarded as fundamental. In the course of contemplating and noting, the imagination and thoughts that may occur should again be contemplated and noted. Thereafter, contemplating and noting be reverted to the rising and falling of the abdominal movement. If bodily sensation of pain, stiffness, and hotness are felt, then these sensations should be contemplated and noted when they occur. Afterwards, you should go back to contemplation and noting of the rising and falling movements of the abdomen. Bending and stretching of hands and feet, if taken place, should likewise be noted. While contemplation is done in the like manner, the sense object of contemplation and noting and the knowing mind will be distinguishingly known. Then yogi will realize distantly cause and effect. Then the nature of their impermanence suffering and non-self, anicca, dukkha, anatta will be apprehended with your personal knowledge in the process of contemplating and noting the psychophysical phenomena. Then you continue and yogi reach Binganyana. When Binganyana, insight into the dissolution of things, gets strengthened with constant awareness, contemplating and noting should be spread widely, beginning from every sensation or touch and contact covering the whole body. If tiresomeness occurs while so meditating, and if contemplating and noting loses its momentum, the mind that contemplates and knows be reverted to the usual rising and falling movements of the abdominal wall. Only when the body and mind becomes tranquil, further contemplation of all bodily phenomena should be carried on and noted. When contemplation gains strength in the manner, achievement of progressive insight will be advanced towards Bayanyana, Adinavanyana, Nebidanyana, Mochidukamyatanyana, and Parisinganyana, and thereafter the stage of Sinkarupikanyana will be reached. At that stage, all objects of contemplation will be perceived automatically without making effort. Vipassana with its penetrating insight will be occur spontaneously. Then yogi will be unable to pursue and note with his knowledge the arising of the number of sensations occurring over the whole body, and only automatic awareness of few usual sensations is taking place. At this stage, it is also very delicate and gentle, and awareness is also very, very clear. There are times when continuous contemplation is to be carried on, one after another. The other, roughly about 3 phenomena, such as the nature of the rising of the abdomen, falling of the abdomen, and stiffness felt in the sitting postures, the entire body being thought of as having vanished together, altogether. Sometimes meditators may become aware of only the 2 occurrences, rising and falling of the abdomen. not knowing the fact that yogi is sitting, just only two rising and falling. Occasionally, moments may arise when consciousness fails to grasp the rising and falling of the abdomen. And if it so happens, yogi may be fixing his attention only on the clear knowing mind, merely contemplating and noting it as knowing, 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 only just knowing. While being conscious of what is happening, awareness becomes greatly accelerated, and sudden cessation of the contemplating object and mind will be perceived and realized. Sudden cessation of the contemplating object and mind. That is the knowledge and perception of the cessation of all rupa nama, that is megajnana, path consciousness. As a matter of fact, rejection of Adda deity called Aramananusaya has been made completely even before attaining megajnana with the faculty of vipassana insight knowledge, which has become aware of the existence of only rupa and nama, mind and metta, in the course of your contemplation and noting. Ariya Mega, which realize the nature of cessation of all rupa and nama sankhara totally, dispel that atta deity called Santananusaya. From then onwards, the false view of the existence of an individual, a being, an atta being, and a living entity has been completely wiped out. This explains in brief that the manner of practicing meditation to be able to reject atta deity, wrong view, though yogi may be developing metta towards the piñati beings, conceptual beings, and it is in conformity with the instruction given by the Lord Buddha, Ditthanja, that means towards atta deity, wrong view, which clings to the view that there is really atta, there is really individual or self or a being. So yogi have no desire to grasp with attachment to that kinds of wrong views. If atta deity is rejected by methodical contemplation and noting through honest meditation, Mecha deity, the wrong view or misconception will be totally eradicated. Then after rejecting wrong views, Silawa Yogi should also be accomplished with sila, morality. The sila can be fully accomplished. Purified sila will of course remain intact. In the case of laymen, if they strictly and respectfully observe either the 5 precepts or 8 precepts or 10 precepts, the basic requirements of meditation. As regards Patimokkha Sila, that is a collection of precepts prescribed for bhikkhus. This can be fully accomplished if the moral practices are meticulously observed according to the rules of Vinaya. Such precepts, both for laymen and bhikkhu, should be fully perfected before practicing meditation. It has been already instructed to fulfill this perfection in moral practices with the words Karaniya Mata Kusalena, etc., appearing in this Metta Sutta. In this regard, it means to refer to the accomplishment of Ariya Mega Sila. This also be embraced in the attribute of Ariya Mega, which has uprooted the deity. It is already included in the expression not having a desire to grasp Atta deity, which means having rejected the Atta deity. Nevertheless, to make it more convincing that Ariya Mega Sila has also been accomplished, it was repeated with the word Silawa, that is, yogi should be accomplished with morality. And Dasanina with the inside knowledge of Sotapatti Mega, which relies and perceives Nibbana, the state of cessation of all Sankhara Dukkha, all suffering. A yogi have accomplished that Sotapatti Mega, Dasanina Sampanno. So having been accomplished, it would not also cling to wrong view, or it would reject wrong view. It conveys the same sense as the expression accomplishment of Ariya Mega Phala. This again is a repetition to make the meaning all the more obvious. Kamesu Vinaya Gedam Nahi Jatok Gabaseya Punariti. Kamesu means desirable sensation of Kamaguna, sensual desire. Gedam means clinging, pleasurable attachment, called Kamatana. Vinaya, yogi must have rejected by the knowledge of Anagami Mega. And if yogi continue, yogi will reach the stage of Sagragami Megaphala. Again, when further contemplation is carried on after becoming a Sagragami, he will attain Anagami Mega, which will totally eradicate Kamatana, sensual desire. Then yogi will proceed to achieve Anagami Phala to become an Anagami. An Anagami person, after his death, will be reborn in Sodawasa abodes of the Brahma world. Sodawasa. Soda, pure, awasa, abode. There are 5 realms in Sodawasa. Pure abode. Soda, pure, awasa means house or abode. So Sodawasa means the abode of pure beings. There is the realms of pure beings. They are pure because they are all anagamis. Only anagamis and arhan are there in Nagami and arhans are in the 5 pure abodes. 5 pure abodes are Aviha, Adaba, Sudasa, Sudasi, Akaneta. 5. You want to know? Can you follow? Aviha, Adaba, Sudasa, Sudasi, Akaneta. Again, Aviha, Adaba, Sudasa, Sudasi, Akaneta. So the first one is Aviha. Aviha, that means a beautiful abode. Viha means to forsake. So aviha means not forsaking. So durable. That is first one. Second one is Adaba. No worry. No worry. Serene. Adaba really means cannot be satisfied. Sudasa means good looks. Good looks. Sudasi means having clear sight. They see other people with wisdom, eyes of wisdom. Sudasi. Akaneta means highest pure abode. Akaneta, that means not young, not little, so it means great or highest. So these Aviha, Adaba, Sudasa, Sudasi, Akaneta are the 5 realms where only Anagami and Arhants are reborn. So if yogi does not as yet become an Arhan in that abode, he will reach an abode called Adaba after expiry of the lifespan of 1000 world cycle. There are some yogis who, after attainment of Arhanship while living in that abode of Adaba, enter into Parinibbana. If arahantship is not yet attained in that abode, after 2000 world cycle of his lifespan, he will be reborn in the abode of Sudasa. Sudasa. There are instances where some who die at the end of their lifespan, thereafter becoming arahants. Again, yogi stay phase to attain arahantship in that abode. He will meet with his death after 4,000 world cycle and reach the abode of Sudasi. There are also some yogis might pass away, that is enter into Parinibbana after attaining arahantship. In Sudasi, the lifespan is 8,000 world cycle. Similarly, cause of events will be gone through up to Akaneta, the highest abode of Sodawasa, where the life period runs very long to the extent of 16,000 world cycle. During this extraordinary length of lifetime, yogi will definitely become an arahant and then finally enter into Parinibbana. Parinibbana means the ultimate and complete cessation of all rupa and nama, mind and metta, on the demise of an arahant. This is the last of his rounds of existence in samsara, or human passion and desirable attachment, which bind mankind to existence, and all that lead to rebirth will be wholly extinct. This is the end of all misery, a blissful state. The lamp of life having been burnt out, on death, yogi will forever be released from becoming, thereby misery and suffering of aging, sickness and death, which are the concomitant effect of the life existence, will be escaped. It is the absolute extinction of a being whereby eternal bliss is gained. After reaching the abodes of Sodawasa, yogi comes to a road end culminating in death, known as Parinibbana. Human existence is no more for him, and there is no likelihood of entering into a mother's womb. So in this teaching, it mentioned that jhana will be achieved by developing metta through meditation. If vipassana contemplation is made based upon this metta jhana, yogi will reach up to the stage of anagami, and no further rebirth will therefore take place by entering into a mother womb. Yogi will be elevated to reach the Brahmaloka called Sodawasa abode, and we become an arahant. And from there, we enter into Parinibbana. The meaning of it is clear up to that extent only, but Lord Buddha wished to see people reach the stage of Arhata Megaphala even in this present life and attain final goal of Nibbana on their demise. So based on the matter of pregnancy, which would require conceiving in the mother's womb, some people hold the presumption that all new existence or all rebirths have been rejected. It may be stated that the presumption appears appropriate since it falls in line with the wish of the Lord Buddha. However, it is pretty difficult to make an interpretation to arrive at this meaning. In accordance with the expression Kamesu, it may be possible to accept the transliteration as the desirable rupa and arupa bhava without assuming the sense of the term kamaguna, sensual desire. So the meaning of the last phrases may be translated in this way: Kamesu, with respect of all desirable sensation, all desirable sensation. Kedam is etana, the clinging, passionate attachment. So yogi rejected with the 4 Arya Mega. Yogi we not come into the new existence by entering into the mother womb. So yogi will enter into pre-nibbana in this present life existence without having any more rebirths. So this explanation is in consonance with the wish of the Lord Buddha, though it is not in agreement with the usual translation from the viewpoint of grammar. It also conforms to the statement that the 500 bhikkhus who after listening to the Metta Sutta becomes arahants through meditation in the same year Vasa. And then it falls in line with the teaching, noble teaching, that it can reach up to the stage of Arhata Megaphala by vipassana contemplation based on Metta jhana. So it is rational and natural and conventional also. So this explanation is considered to be most appropriate. So we have to recite the last verse, Pali and translation. Can you follow me? Tettenja anupagama Tettenja anupagama Sila vadasanena sampanno Sila vadasanena sampanno Kamesu vineya gedam Kamesu vineya gedam Nahi jatu gabba seya punareti. Nahi jatu gabba seya punareti. So translation, follow me. Not approaching wrong views, not approaching wrong views, being virtuous and endowed with vision, the first path knowledge, endowed with vision, the first path knowledge, and discarding attachment, discarding dana to all sensual objects, yogi definitely does not come again to lying in the mother's womb. So this is the end of this Metta Sutta. We have to stop our discourse for today by practicing Metta Bhavana, by observing every phenomena occurring at the six senses, rising, falling, sitting, touching, seeing, hearing, smelling, continuously and meticulously. May all yogis be liberated from all suffering. May all yogis realize the real peace in the very near future. Sadhu, sadhu.